Hi, it's Xavier. Welcome to my bonsai retreat, and I've got a bit of a special treat for you because in the middle of summer I finally got around to looking at this very challenging Scots pine. It looks lovely and green, and you know, I don't know, we've got loads we're going to do with it. But first, I think you need to get just a little bit of a history kick on it, because this is part of a collaboration I've done with Kennet of KDB Bonsai, and if you haven't been over to his channel recently, then you really do need to pop back and have a look and see what he's been doing, because Kennet was one of the original people I used to watch when I first started this, way back in goodness knows when that was. I actually did my first style of this Scots pine way back in July 2022, and actually it was probably one of the first pines I'd ever really attempted styling as a bonsai, and it was definitely experimental for me. And I did what I considered a basic styling and tried to go traditional on it, but I didn't really see the design potential and what it was that I could do with it. And to be fair, I was pretty happy with what I'd achieved. It's something new, and like many of us when we do something for the first time, you know, we can be proud and happy with what we've done. But unbeknownst to me, Kennet, in the throes of winter, produces this video saying how would he restyle it to make it better. And he talked about loads of techniques. Well, I couldn't help myself. I took him up on his offer. So I went ahead and did styling Kennet de Bond way. So after getting all that wonderful advice, I put it into practice. And sometime early in January 2023, I put a video out all about using rafia, doing extreme bending, using bridges to create a safe way of keeping junctions together so they don't split. And we ended up with, we ended up with something that I reckon would be really good as a Scots pine end. And then probably about 3 or 4 months later, it would have been May 2023, I had another look at it, and rather than me go on about it, let's have a little look and see what I decided. Kennet, I don't know if you can see me from way over there in Brussels, but it's been, what, 4 or 5 months since we worked on this Scots pine together, and I'm a bit stuck now. And since you've done the main lead on this, I thought you could help me out as we move forward. Got lots of budding candles coming up. I mean, this is the branch here that I was thinking I might remove. There doesn't appear to be any new buds coming up on this branch, so although I've got a little something up there, so we need to watch that, but I don't think we're going to get anything from here, so that may end up having to be removed. Looking at the back there, again, I haven't got any candle growth on the back. A little bit disappointed. We may have lost that back branch, which could be an issue here if you look at the line it's got on it. But here, as we get higher up, all buds, candles coming up here. I'm not sure that we've got anything off from that one, which is one I wanted. And then on this side, we've got one candle that's coming through, potentially another one down here. One back there hasn't grown. I'm a little bit disappointed, but we've got 4 or 5 candles from here. We've got another 3 here, one big long one there, and obviously the top here, lovely big long candles up here. Nothing on this lower one. It may well be that hasn't worked out. And then obviously on this back branching area, or well, it may not be the back branch anymore, who knows, maybe this will be the back branch. We've got lots of candle growth here. I think we had the original front going to be somewhere around there, although that bend there is really horrible, don't like it. You might have shoots there. So I'll give it a spin, and then I want you to tell me, Kennet, one, how long before you reckon I can look at taking this wire off? It doesn't look like it's digging, and obviously until we get candle growth, we're probably not going to get much expansion. Yeah, I don't like the old front idea we had, and we may have to go even more drastic on designs perhaps on this. Who knows? I'll leave that in your hands. I'll just be the labour. Where are we now? 17th of May? I really want to know, at this time of the year, what would you be doing right now?
Hello, Xavier. I got your message today And well, I must say I agree on everything that you said. It's a little sad and disturbing that you don't have growth on every branch here, but probably the tree is going to well, recover from what has been done. And I wouldn't bother a lot because first of all, these are the finest parts, the thinnest parts, and you will have probably a whole lot of backbudding once the raffia is removed and once that the tree is recovering and happy. Now, if you're afraid about the wire digging in, well, you must keep an eye on it, especially on the thickest parts. Now, on a pine it can be very attractive, especially when the bark gets a little older, to have these little scars, but it's always better to avoid it. So that's something where you will have to keep an eye on. Now, maybe you can remove the raffia on the top part, because this is still a very flexible portion of the tree, and it's always possible to bend it again. Now, you talked about the big bend and you don't like the curve there. Now, I have a branch here which looks nothing like your pine, of course, but I'm going to show you what you can do to make that bend a little more interesting. So this is a technique that you can use, and it's also, well, safe. You see, you can put a piece of wire between two branches, and you wire it this way and you wire it this way, okay, and then you make sure that you close the gap here. Now, of course, you didn't do anything like that, but now you can take a big piece of wire and you put it between the two and you give it a slight twist, and if you think, well, that's gonna break, well, then you stop and you wait for a week or two, and then you come back and you give it another turn and another turn and so on. Now, there's going to be a point where you think that the wire is not going to do anything, and then you just come with another wire, you do the exact same thing, but you will have two brand new pieces of wire here, and you can do that all over again. And by doing it that way, you're not stressing the tree too much, and every time you have a tear somewhere, you give it time to heal, and this way you can do very heavy bending. So my advice on this is fairly simple, and you know, I'm not a top bonsai expert, but you should probably feed the tree, water it well, but I'm sure you're doing this already, and then maybe release the top part in order to let it grow freely, and probably prune back in the autumn, but I'm sure that you will, but that we will be in contact before. So hope this helps. Keep me updated. Cheers.
Okay, thanks for that, Kennet. I still think trying to reduce that down is going to be harder, but we'll try that. We'll definitely try the wire. I've been looking and I don't see any wire biting in yet, but yeah, we definitely need that to grow a bit freely. So I will remove everything higher up and we'll have a look and see what we've got, shall we? Okay, so wire higher up actually comes further down and around to here. So, get rid of that. Watch it. It's going to bend up like a bendy thing. Well, there's not even any indentations in the raffia, so make sure I cut the right wire. Okay, well, you know I'm going to keep cutting wire off. I might let you see me actually cut the raffia off. Okay, well, the wire's come off, and it hasn't suddenly sprung back up. And looking, I mean, there is lots of candle growth down here. I can see it and here. So that's going to be quite an interesting branch. So the idea is to let that grow freely for now, get lots of energy. That's key. We're going to get lots of energy back into this, the damage that was done as a result of this. So, okay, the unwinding begins. And of course, the thing with raffia, we don't want to be just throwing stuff away, because this can either rinse it or just, well, it's going to get rinsed anyway when it gets used again, but it definitely can be used again. And we don't want to be throwing stuff away when we can recycle it. I wonder if Scots pine feels like I do after having my socks on all day. And you know that lovely feeling you get when about 10:30 in the evening, you get those socks off and you get to stretch your toes out and breathe. And we won't go any further there, but I wonder if the Scots pine feels the same way when the raffia comes off. I can almost feel it exhaling. Exhaling? I've heard of Xavier, but exhaling, is that like exhaling? I think it probably is, actually. There we go, let's get this all off. And certainly we didn't get any harsh scarring or anything from wire, and that's to be expected because it really hasn't done that much growing, or any growing at all. You know, that's what we're going to see from the candles. All right, well, I've just got to the point where we can see the top of that, that bridge bar we put there to stop splitting. Anything, maybe if we can close that in. Not sure. I'm not sure that method's going to work with just how wide that is. Every part of me is screaming out, all we need to do now is get energy in this. If I just cut, say, that candle, so I just get a bit of distribution across the other ones. The rest of them are quite small. There's only one here, and that one will probably want to be, if that one grows, if I'm going to remove the bottom, that could be a new main branch, a new part of the structure. Top, I'm happy, there's only two on there, I'm happy for that to grow out. There's two smaller buds there. Let's reduce that one. We'll just reduce that one. See what effects that has. Hopefully, that will just encourage, well, there's another one here. That will just encourage a better distribution of energy across the other candles. Now, I suppose the only thing I'm looking at here is that whatever I do, I'm not going to be able to change that angle there, I don't think. Well, I'll tell you what, let's bring it in anyway. That's what you've advised to do, so I'll get some wire on that and see if we do that. Okay, so maybe if I start lower down, and if I remember, so I'm just tightening in like that. And I know lots of people have done this method, but it's the first time I've actually done this. Okay, we can see I've already pulled it in quite a bit. I'll probably go, it's funny, actually bringing it in does lessen the impact of that. Okay, so that's how that's done, and basically, so what I was waiting for was for any sort of noise, and although the birds are quite loud, I literally just then heard a very, very gentle crack. And it wasn't like a branch cracking, but it was enough to say that there's probably some tissue tearing. And that's what you're actually trying to do. So as soon as you get a little bit of tissue tearing, then you stop the process. Might leave that in there. And I think according to what I've just been told by Kennet, wait another week or two for the tissue to repair itself. And then if you want to be bringing it in more and more, then you can apply some more turns. Now, I know that later on he talks about taking the wire further up to either increase this bend when you don't think this can do anything more that you want. And we'll see how we go. But yeah, so there's the example of using the tourniquet method. I'm happy. It's the first time I've actually used it. I know it is a relatively simple method, but it is nice to be a first for things. Do you know I've still not ever done tie downs, but I'm sure that'll come. So that already makes a difference, to be fair. So we've done some little bit of candle pinching just to balance energy across the range. We've removed the raffia there so this can breathe. But the other thing Kennet was saying is that may actually, with more energy going through, create the environment to allow back budding to happen within the branch itself. As we know on Scots Pine, they do back bud on bare wood. We've brought in the gap here to reduce that. And in the end, I'm setting this up so that in the autumn time probably, we can have another look at it and then reassess what we do with this top. But I think the key is, after all the heavy work that was done, as Kennet rightly says, we need this tree now to go, get out of its tight clothing and breathe and enjoy the end of spring and the summer. So that's what we're going to do. Chucked Dougie's balls in there. We want to give it a good feed and just watch out for wire. Overall, very, very happy. And obviously, having done all that, I thought, well, I was looking for it to develop somewhere. I was not happy with the amount of candles, and it really didn't look that healthy. So let's skip on ahead, probably another 5 weeks into middle of June. Well, welcome back. It's been probably about 5 weeks since I did this. We've got lots more growth from up top, so I'm happy with what's going on up there. But I've just been getting this feeling that really I want to get this stuff off and just see how this shape's been holding. So we're going to do that. May even do something with that. Got lots of white powder, which is all down to aphids and stuff like that. But yeah, I've decided I want to get this wire off and see just how well that's reacting. So first of all, we're going to release that. It's sprung out instantly, and I can always re-put this tensioner back on. And believe it or not, you won't be able to see it too well, I suppose, but I'm hoping that by releasing all this wire and everything and try and give it a little bit of an extra bit of vigour, there's some little buds that I can see here. We may actually get some decent growth, and I can get rid of this horrible branch here. In fact, put your hands up right now if you actually want to watch me releasing all that wire. Ready, steady. No, I didn't think you did. We'll come back when it's done, shall we? Okay, well, got all that palaver off and put the thing back on. We've got the bend in there. Joins up there. Looks like there was a bit of a split up there, but nothing big. And truthfully, I still don't like the way that bend looks, but we've got some nice growth here and down here, so I'll wait and see. It's one of those ones where actually if you have that as a back branch, it's a lot less obvious the way that bend goes. But I getting lots of lovely growth up here. I mean, this is what Kennet was talking about. You know, I've got candle growth, I've got loads of thing, so that means this thing's getting loads of energy, and you know, in the end, ultimately, that's what it needs. Whether I could end up removing that whole part and just doing something with this. I just thought it was important. I wanted to get the raffia off, get the wire off, and have a look and see how it's reacting. As I say, it held the shape that was put there by the raffia, but yeah, not too convinced by that there. It'd be interesting. The other way of looking at this is we remove all of that, and this ends up becoming a grow this further down, and we could actually end up creating either a full cascade with it actually. In which case, what I'd be looking for is some sort of back budding happening there, or using actually using these branches to almost hide that. So lots of options there still, and along the way I've definitely been learning some techniques too. Not necessarily exactly how I think Kennet was hoping this one would go. I think the issue was this bend here. Even if you look here, it was 290. It was pretty well a 90 degree, so you were never going to be able to really change that without actually splitting or breaking it. But yeah, I'm wondering if I can continue to grow this down, whether we might get a cascade. And after all that, I looked at it and just thought, this is not healthy enough to be doing anything with for at least another year. So rather than skipping on the couple of months or whatever that I said, we're now all the way to end of July 2024, 13 months later. Here it is, and we're going to have some fun today, because I owe it to Kennet to try and turn this into something vaguely decent. So let's get this up to the working bench and see exactly what we can do.